evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another
It ain't the
edition.
same, Cam. I'm sorry.
Get off the damn fence.
This music
Yes,
does
the
not reflect
countdown
the
is
views
gone. There's no way to
of
get
the
it back.
cast of Get Off the
Face
Damn
the
Fence.
music. It is what it is.
Please pardon that for the last 2 weeks.
I will try to find a replacement of some sort, but that is the new countdown according to StreamYard. We are beholden to it. But here we are for another week of Get Off the Damn Fence. We appreciate you joining us tonight. I'm Larry Carson, joined by co-host Calvin Thomas, Justin Be Able to Barbara Harris, and we have a special guest tonight, a good friend of ours, member of the crew, as with the Shields. What's going on, Kevin?
What is up, everybody?
Good to see you, man. Kevin's joining us tonight for our first segment of the show. But before we get started talking about the world of professional wrestling, let's check in. Calvin, how was your weekend and how was everything?
Good. Had a lot of TV to catch up on this weekend.
That's what's up. Justin, how was your weekend?
I'm in the middle of paradise right now.
So. Paradise finale tonight, man. Well, today I haven't caught. As soon as this show's over, that's what I'm watching. Justin, how's your weekend? How's everything?
Everything's all right. Everything's all right. Ready to go.
That's right. I seen your princess celebrated her birthday. Happy birthday to her. Always good. So we'll move on to our first topic of tonight. And the reason why I have Kevin here, this past weekend, we really got treated to one hell of a show. I'll say this. I've been watching professional wrestling for all my life. And there are a few things, if you watch this show, we talk about wrestling here and there. And WWE is known for your storylines. If you know WWE, it's not necessarily always been about work rate. Work rate is the style of the matches, the action inside the ring. A lot of it is the story that they tell, in interviews and storylines, things of that nature. And Saturday night, the WWE presented their Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, which this pay-per-view used to be held in the fall. They moved it to this zone right between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, that last stop before WrestleMania. And the way they've done it the last few years has really made this a must-see event, which I applaud them for. It used to be a lame duck show. They used to do Fast Lane or No Way Out or something like that right before WrestleMania. And if whoever won the Royal Rumble, everything was already a foregone conclusion heading into WrestleMania. This was almost like a pit stop, like something you just had to do to check a box. But by making the Elimination Chamber the setup for the other title, they added intrigue to the match. But also, they've done a great job of building this particular Elimination Chamber up with all the stars. You had CM Punk, you had Cody Rhodes, you had John Cena. Rock was involved in some kind of way. Cody's involved in some kind of way. You got Seth Rollins. You got big name stars all in the chamber. And all these people had a reason to care about this match. And it made the fans care. And something happened. Something happened that if you've been watching WWE for the past, 15 years, maybe longer, you didn't think they would ever do. Well, they did it. On Sunday night, John Cena finally turned heel. That's right. After years of people wondering, will John Cena ever go back bad? Remember, when he originally became who he was, he started off Thugonomics, coming out rapping with the jerseys, Word Life, with the chain on there. He was a bad guy. But once he became that hero to the kids, once he got the Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff behind him, it was like he's selling too much merchandise. He's a hero to too many children. You can't turn John Cena. This man would never do it. But this is John Cena's final year in WWE, final year of his career. And he said, got to go up one more time. Got to do it once. What was your thoughts when it went down? We'll start with you, Kevin, since you are our guest tonight. What was your thoughts on everything that happened with John Cena joining The Rock as a heel on Saturday night?
First, I'm going to give my man some props off top. He is a good actor. We went directly from the happy John Cena face to the straight transformation into you really went from hero to villain in 2 seconds. Super impressive. But then we've all been waiting for this forever. I've been wanting the big terrible John Cena heel run, and this was beautiful. I'm liking how this is executed. Just I don't know why Travis Scott was in the ring, punching people in the face, busting eardrums and such, but whatever. But beyond that, beautiful moment.
Yeah. Justin, what was your thoughts when you saw everything that went down on Saturday night?
Just for this particular moment, it automatically puts you in a Hogan NWO moment. It was comparisons about that all weekend.
I've heard those comparisons. I don't buy it, but okay.
I still don't think, just my thoughts on that. I think Hogan's was more impactful because he was coming out to save the day, and then he flipped versus the, like KD just said, the smile flip. It's a difference, right? It's a difference when you're expecting your hero and then he flipped versus the dude just kicked him in his nuts. Like, it's a little different. But it was still epic nonetheless. And you gotta think those was like 25 to 30 years apart from each other. So we gotta wait another 30 years before this happens again. But it was storytelling at its finest. Shout out to Triple H, shout out to The Rock for planting the seeds way back when. I don't know how long it goes if you follow the Easter eggs. I know one Easter egg was when The Rock was kicking Cody's ass back last year sometime.
Oh, the trailer.
And then the trailer had John Cena right above it. Like, it was foreshadowing this type of thing. CM Punk foreshadowing this. When he was talking to Cody, he said, "Yo, your friends is going to be the ones that stab you in the back. I stab you in your front." I thought that was very pause-worthy, though. But the fact is, he said that, and lo and behold, The Rock was like, "Hey, you're my friend. Hey, we're friends now. Don't worry about all that. All that ass kicking, don't worry about it. We're friends." And then his friends stabbed him in his back, him and Cena. So they definitely did their thing. They definitely did the foreshadowing, the Easter eggs, the I'm gonna plot this long-term storytelling. They did all that, and it made this event what it is. And people talk about Travis Scott. There was an advertisement about the Elimination Chamber. It had Rock, it had Cena, and it had Travis Scott.
It had Travis Scott.
So
he brought eyes to the product. It
was there. It was there right in front of our faces. We just chose not to believe it because we just never thought that this time, this Cena turn. I mean, we grew up. We was kind of mature when Cena had his ruthless aggression era. So it wasn't like, oh my God, my heart didn't drop at all.
No childhood change.
Here we go. It's about time. Now, my only caveat, because I know I'm going too long, my only caveat is, and we probably talk about this a little bit more, if freaking Cody beats this duo of The Rock and Cena, it becomes Super Cody, I'm going to have issues. I'm going to throw something. Cody. I'm done with it. Cody should lose the belt and let's rock off with a whole different thing. One more last thing. I've never seen a pay-per-view that was so impactful that it made you forget about Roman for a little bit. Every other thing was like, hey man, where's Roman? Oh, well, wish Roman was in this. That whole night, including Raw, was just like, damn, Roman made all this happen. I'm not taking that away from him, but you was like, damn, I don't need Roman right now. This is just great to watch.
That's a good point. Yeah. That is a great point. Calvin, what's your thoughts on everything that went down?
I mean, I was surprised. I didn't think they would have the balls to do it, especially Cena's last year, because I feel like he's going to go out as a babyface. So eventually, there's going to be some turn back.
Sure.
I don't know if you're going to.
Of course.
I don't know if you're going to give it a proper length of time. Like, I would love to see this last, to the end of the year and have his last match at WrestleMania next year. And just kind of give the storyline time to develop. You can have so many different storylines feed into this with Roman, with Punk. You can have all this tie-in, but I don't know if you have enough time to do this. Being this is Cena's last year, but
does that make every pay-per-view even more important because now he can do one of those big matches every few months?
Yeah, but I mean the other thing is you're not going to see Cena until the week before WrestleMania now, and I think that it allows it to build up, but now that's 6 weeks away. So how much can you continue to talk about it without seeing Cena again live in whatever type of arena it is. But it was definitely surprising. I didn't think they would do it on here. I thought it was going to happen more so if it did happen at WrestleMania, where there would have been more eyes and more surprise and more build up. But surprised they pulled it off.
Well, see, I think this was smart doing it here because this trains the fans that anything can happen, and you got to tune in. You never know. Like if you watched Raw last night, you got a title change.
Crazy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you
Crazy
gotta
in there.
throw things out there that makes things like you just can't.
Triple H is
skip it.
predictable though.
Well, he traditionally he has been.
He was up until
You know what I mean?
Recently.
Well,
Yeah,
let
these
me
last
give
couple of
y'all a
weeks.
little big backstory as well because apparently, The Rock is a board of director member, and we talked about this in the past. There's been a debate ever since last year when he came in and he changed all the plans and tried to get himself Roman versus Rock last year, but the fans wanted Cody and they fought against it and everything like that. Well, this year, Rock comes in last minute. We talked about this last week, flipped everything around, did that Cody, I want your soul thing.
Yeah.
Well, the initial plan, Rock wanted Cody to actually turn heel for real, legit. That was supposed to be explained. Remember on Netflix, that first episode, they came out and they shook hands and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rock actually wanted Cody to turn heel as a shocker in this match here, and that would have been, but Triple H was against it. And this is from Dave Meltzer. Everybody know, if you don't know wrestling, Dave Meltzer is the wrestling mind. He's the inside journalist, #1 in the world. Motivation is Dwayne wanted Cody legit. And I know this is a fact because a mutual friend last week mentioned the politics, as Triple H absolutely thought it was a terrible idea. But in a fight with Dwayne, Nick Khan is the arbitrator. He loses every time. However, several people convinced Cody to simply refuse to do it. So Art was like life a lot of the time. Rock wouldn't go against Cody politically, so he let it go. And Cena was the second choice. Cena was fine with it, and Punk was never asked. So, and originally, Cody was supposed to turn heel. Now, and because they wanted that babyface heel dynamic at Mania between Cody and Cena, they thought, oh, we can't turn Cena heel. He's been a career babyface. Da da da. Well, Cody the hottest babyface in the whole company. Why would you turn him heel at this point? So, if you had your choice, would you? I know what you would say, Justin. Calvin, would you have done what they did, or would you have turned Cody heel and kept Cena as a babyface?
Turn Cena heel. I think that's what the people want to see. That this you want as much John Cena as you can, whether or not you're going to hate him or you're going to love him. You want much John Cena as you can going into the last year. I think this gives him an added storyline, something added to watch, something added to root for, root against in these last 8-9 months of his career in the WWE. So it's 100% Cena. They made the right call.
Kevin, what you think?
It was the only call to make, really. Think about it. Why would you take the hot, not even just, let's be real, not even just the hottest babyface in their company. In wrestling, he is the babyface. You're gonna derail that when it's at its hottest, when you're selling all the merch and the arenas and all this stuff. No, that's stupid. No, you go ahead and you wait till Cody starts to cool as a babyface, then you then you turn him heel. You don't do it now. And then, like you said, John Cena, that basically everyone has always wanted to see. He's gonna go out on a heel run, or at least most of his last year. No, that's way more fun than seeing Cody turn. I feel like most of WWE's fan and wrestling fans in general would have hated it if they would have turned Cody. Everyone would have rejected it, and it would have blown up in their face.
Justin?
When you say everyone, right? Everyone,
excluding you,
because I would have enjoyed seeing Homelander Cody, as I dubbed it. I wish I would have seen this months ago. So,
I want to see Homelander Cody, but no.
Then how else you gonna get him? You gonna wait till he die down, then he might get an upswing. I don't want no ifs, ands, or buts. They should have did it, but with that being said, that's not the best. That's not what's best for business.
True.
What's best for business was Cena turning heel, because at least it brings the 30, 35 and older crowd back to it in droves. Like, oh, they finally did it. Let me see where this goes. At least
It's
you
been
have
everywhere.
that.
This has been talked about everywhere. I mean, it was on the Daily Show. You've seen it on sports shows. You've seen it on Shannon Sharp cut a promo about it. About you want to do a tag match against Travis Scott and
I'm sorry.
and Rock. He's like, come on, we can take him down. I'm like, yeah, chill out, bro. But no, I really think this was the right move for many reasons because you can explain it in storyline. Cena has been losing a lot. He's been losing, and that was his story. Now, what is the motivation typically for a heel? I tried to do it the right way. I tried to do it, and I just couldn't get over the top. Now, this was my motivation. I sold my soul because I need to win. I need that title, and I'm going to do whatever I need to do. Yeah. I need to surpass Ric Flair. I need to break that record, and I'm going to do it like the dirtiest player in the game. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell a better story that way. And again, because Cena is a star, it don't matter if you face or heel. The fans gonna cheer you regardless. You know what I mean? Like, he gonna get cheered. Like, sometimes that can hurt the babyface. So I think you do run the danger of Cody getting booed because people are such a fan of John Cena at WrestleMania.
You gotta make him unlikable.
Exactly.
But you don't have enough time. Do you have enough time? That's the problem.
You got enough time. You got enough time.
Do you have enough time with Cena being there before WrestleMania?
Cena will be fine. He'll be there. Time. Remember, he got 38 dates on that man. He's going to be around at some point
before WrestleMania.
I think they got enough. He's definitely going to be there to build up his WrestleMania program.
All you got to do is finish whatever he was recording.
You can send them videos. You don't want to oversaturate him.
I thought they said he wouldn't be back until the week of WrestleMania.
That's a heel move. I'm going to be shoot the movie. That's just saying that he'll show up here and there. He might do some sneak attacks. You never know. But at the end of the day, you don't want to overuse him either. You want to keep it special. He can do a little thing here and there and make it mean something. But the main thing, all he got to do is go out there and whoop R-Truth's ass. R-Truth, the biggest John Cena fan in the world. You know what I mean? Like, that's his boy. He imitated all his moves. That's my man. Even, did you see the video? I mean, the little post on Twitter where they said John Cena finally turned heel. And the R-Truth comment on, like, allegedly. We need to make sure that's true. I don't believe it yet. You know what I mean? All you gotta do, like, then you have Cena go out there and bloody that man, destroy him. That's going to make him the biggest heel in the business. You know what I mean? So it's a ways to do it. Booking has to do that. But my thing is, this is box office. This is something that draws attention. And that's what WrestleMania needs. You don't just need to do run-of-the-mill storyline. You need to do something big. And I think this makes this Vegas WrestleMania very, very hot. What's your thoughts, Kevin?
Just this angle alone is building it up to be probably one of the biggest WrestleManias ever. Every time they had to be out last year where Cody finished the story. You got to go higher than that. What's going to be higher than The Rock and John Cena running heel and beating up everybody's favorite hero? You're not going to get bigger than that. It's a perfect story to run.
That's a good point. Because if you think about the last maybe 4 WrestleManias, every year they've done something big. Mm-hmm. And I saw an interview just the other day. Somebody said if Cody needs somebody in his corner to back him up, I got his back. You saw that? Stone Cold Steve Austin. like, bruh, that's where it all started a few years ago when they made Mania big again. Remember Austin came back?
Correct the mistakes of last year.
Mm-hmm. So to speak. Because he should have been there last year doing that running. Yeah. Austin came back a couple years ago. Then the year after that was the Bloodline thing. Then the year after that, Cody finished the story. Now this year with this. Like, every year they've made Mania like a nostalgia type thing, but also bridged it with the current day. And it's made the company bigger. And I think that's what you need to do. And what are we not talking about right now? The Bloodline. That's been dominating WWE for like the last 3 years. This don't have nothing to do with the Bloodline. So this is the way to move things forward. Justin, what's your thoughts on that?
You said everything. And that's what I kind of alluded to earlier with the WWE is finally doing or standing on his own without Roman, or the reminiscence of what Roman has done in that situation.
Yeah, because that's what everybody was saying. Everything had the Bloodline, or the only thing that's carrying them is the Bloodline. But no, man, they got other stuff going on, and you can build off of it. Calvin, if you had to pick, you have Cena win this match
With outside interference, yes. With help, yes.
set up something for down the road, because I think you do got more legs with Cena as champion.
You can you can have this run and have a rematch at SummerSlam, and then you can kind of culminate this storyline and have Cena eventually go back babyface shortly thereafter and kind of finish there. But I think he has to win. He has to win at WrestleMania, and he needs outside interference because you're going to get those storylines to branch off. Does Roman come help Cody? Kind of have those different factors. You can still lead to, Roman Rock at SummerSlam, at Survivor Series. You can still do that based off this new faction.
Well, it should be one more step to whatever Rock has been doing, because when he came out months ago, he did the throat slash with the 3.
That Bad Blood.
Now he flipped it and did this, so that could be a Cena thing too. I'm not. That's not head on that.
That's one more person. One more person.
So then last night he did the joint, a couple nights ago did the joint, and then he did 2. So he go from 3 to 2. It should be one more thing, and then the plan occurs. So who knows what that really means, if it's anything. But it's interesting. He did go from 3 to 2, and then that's it.
But you know what? I just thought about something. Think about who's not, like you brought up Roman earlier, but remember, it was Roman who needed Cody to be his partner at Survivor Series to take on the Bloodline. Remember that when they met in the stadium in Atlanta? He came to his aid. Now you see John Cena and The Rock, 2 of the biggest stars of their generation. Who's the only person missing from this equation? What if Cody enlists the services of Roman to back him up, but The Rock is on the other side of the ring, and he like, hold up, bro. Nah. I'm the final boss. That adds a whole nother layer, and that could be the way to get into Roman and Rock, because those two going to be put at a situation where, hold up, Cody, my man, Like, it makes Roman have to make a decision there. So it is a layer there that they could build off of, because Cena was the biggest of his era, Roman the biggest of his era, Rock was the biggest of his era. You bring Austin back to back them up, whatever. You don't have to throw Austin there, but I think Roman currently can be like, I'm passing the torch to Cody. This is Cody's era. You know what I mean? Like, you can do some stuff with that if you get creative with the storytelling. So interesting stuff. Go ahead, Kevin.
If they felt like doing some long-term storytelling, like Kevin was saying, like you were saying, you can start the Roman Rock story, start building it now. You can start laying out all the little stuff, let a bigger moment happen at SummerSlam. So this way, those two can finally get their Rock Roman WrestleMania and be done with it.
Next year.
Exactly. Build it this long. Start setting up the seeds now. Let it build all the way to there.
And don't forget, there's one more champion at stake here as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Jey Uso has something to do with this whole entire thing.
Do you think Jey loses now?
No,
Jey still wins.
No.
I can see the Rock.
You can't have both
of
skills.
them.
Yeah. It got to be one babyface champion. And I think this sets up Jey to actually have the biggest win of the weekend. You know what I mean? Like, because Cena will most likely, and I would do this match on night 1. I would save Jey and Gunther for night 2 at this point there.
I'd do it the other way around.
Because if you're going to have you don't want to end the weekend with a heel winning. In my opinion, I don't know.
But it's Cena though. It's not a heel. It's Cena. That's one
That's true. And it's him breaking the record.
Yeah.
And it's the biggest match you got, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Anyway, another big happening happened on Saturday night. You got the return of Jade Cargill. I mean, we talked about this last week, man. Like, the match was about to start. Everything's ready. All of a sudden, Jade music hits. She comes down the aisle, like, meant business from the jump. And then you thinking, she about to attack Liv Morgan. Liv is like frantic. Oh no, she's coming for me. Yickety yickety.
It's not
all of a sudden.
I know it's not you.
Drops. Naomi beats the living trash out of her, throwing her from pillar to post. And Bianca, look, I thought she was a little bit over the top, but it was still great. Her selling, oh man, you felt that. The question is, was she overselling? Did Bianca know that she was Bianca in on the ass whipping, or did like you still got questions about this because Naomi didn't take that beating like somebody who knew what the hell she was getting the ass beat for. Like I'm still not convinced. Calvin, what was your thoughts on this?
Like you said, Bianca did a good job of overselling because from every different angle that you could see. But in your defense, I'm not sure either. Like I can I'm going back and forth as to whether or not it was really Bianca. Did she have it set up? It can go either way. I wish there would have been more to it, or if we could have got a little more to it on Saturday.
I'm glad it did just like that because this
now I need to know.
time.
I'm curious. Like I'm curious. I need to know now. I need more to it to the story. But
it worked.
yeah, it did.
Justin, what was your thoughts? Do you think that ass whooping was a sign that she think Naomi really did it, or she was taking her out on behalf of Bianca, or did both of them? Like I'm still like I'm not 100% sure. They could go either way. What's your thoughts?
So we're gonna go with the fact that Bianca has said that she's a single competition. She's a singles competitor now. She came out and said that when they lost the tag titles. So that's the end of this Naomi, Bianca, Jade, and Bianca thing. That's done. She's single again. Secondly, when you watch this play-by-play, when that music struck and she finally realized who was coming down the aisle, she took off her joint like she was prepared to fight. And then when she realized what was going on, she flipped it and said, "Oh my God, y'all in trouble now!" And then, "Oh my God," right? We're gonna go with that. It's not hard if you're getting dropped. If you're getting snuck on whatever the case may be, suppose Bianca just put on Naomi's gear. I know you know the difference, but if you just getting hit from behind and you come to and you may see the item of, I remember something glowing. I remember some neon shit, right? Something along those lines. That's how you set it up. So she might think that is Jay. In all honesty, well, in the storyline, thinks probably it was Naomi. So that sets them up to fight at WrestleMania. Great. Good job. I'd like to see them two fight. That's a nice athletic competition in between those two. But then Bianca's the one that's kind of skating past going to the title. And if she wins it, now I'm the champion. Oh, yeah, I did that. But I'm the champion now, so it's all good.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of
thing. It's different ways you can go with it. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Kevin, what you think?
Now, all the stuff that Justin said, that's the same thing. I'm on track with her. Plus, I want to point out, if you look at the gear Bianca had and Jade had, they were pretty similar. It's just one was in white, one was in black. And so I'm just already looking at that like, it's a lot of little coincidences that y'all threw in here that makes it seem like the end of the story isn't just going to be, oh, yeah, it was Jade. It was Jade that attacked. No, I feel like it's going to throw in one more layer to this because I'm sorry. Jade beating up Naomi, them having a feud going, that's not going to be big enough to carry for long. Now, you use this to build up Jade Bianca, that's going to be the big fight. That's a big story.
That's a setup. You don't think so?
So
you don't think so, or you don't want it to happen?
It's I need more. I think that they're heading into a direction of Jade on one end, Bianca on the other end, and Rhea on the other end. A more like a triangular thing headed towards the next year to 2 years down the line. Yeah. I feel that's the better payoff. You have to put Jade in this mix, and you already had Bianca right there, and then Rhea just lost the title, which only reason I think she lost the title because they don't want to see her lose at WrestleMania. You don't want to get too many WrestleMania losses for the championship like that. So I think that's the storyline. It's going to be somewhere Triple H, Rock, Austin. You know, it was the trio of them. The trio of these women can take the women's title or the women's industry to the next level.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, but I just think for this story in particular, I would just go with I don't think Bianca needs to be a heel right now. I think you can hold it off a little longer. But Jade, she's better served as a heel, in my opinion. How you get there is have her picking on Naomi and Naomi being like, look, it wasn't me. You know what I mean? Like you've been lied to, you've been framed, and you can hold off on that. And then later on, like you say, after Bianca wins the title, it comes out that yeah, it was me. And then we go with that. And then maybe you run with that at SummerSlam or something like that. But I do think this can be very layered if they do it correctly. But Bianca did win the match. It was really good. I think it was the best women's elimination chamber they've had since they started doing it. It wasn't bad. It was not bad. I thought as far as the competitors actually in the ring, the start was hot. Give Liv Morgan her credit. She went the whole way.
Shout out to Liv Morgan, man.
Yeah, she kept the action moving. She's very athletic. She's gotten a lot better as a worker. I'm not the biggest Alexa Bliss fan, but I thought everybody looked good. I can't say anybody looked terrible. So good on them. On Monday, it came out. I mean, Rhea and Jade Bianca came out. No, Rhea and Bianca came out for a face-to-face right before the main event. So you all think, okay, this is the match we all been thinking about. Ever since they was in NXT, they never faced off. You thinking, okay, we finally going to get WrestleMania. Bianca, Rhea Ripley, head-to-head. Here we go. Title on the line. But there she is in the background, lurking like, oh, y'all forgot about me? Y'all forgot about me? So Io Sky faces Rhea Ripley on Monday Night Raw, and wouldn't you know it, hell of a match, hell of a main event. Everybody thought it was a foregone conclusion that we were going to WrestleMania with Bianca and Rhea Ripley, but no. Io Sky wins the title on Monday Night Raw, maybe setting up a three-way, maybe setting up, we don't know. Probably most likely it will be a three-way at WrestleMania. Kevin, what was your thoughts when you saw that Io pulled it off?
I was extremely surprised. I was sitting there like, all right, y'all gonna go ahead, Rhea going to handle it, Mommy's on top, all that stuff. Then no, we have Io Sky win, and I love that. I did. I like Io Sky. I think she's great. And then it goes back to the story that they were pushing, that they had to remind everybody of during Raw, that no, this is not the first time these two have fought. They've done it several times. And if I'm not wrong, I think it's Rhea has never beaten Io.
Never clean.
So now you get to continue that story, like, and we saw throughout this match as Rhea's she's throwing Io a beating. She's hitting her with everything she got, and she can't keep her down. And she beat her again. It just furthers it sets up an entire another story that if they want to run with it down the line, they can. Like, yo, whatever you say, Miss Ripley, whatever you say, Mommy, you can't beat me. You've never beaten me. It's another story set up for any time they want to run it.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to win clean. I didn't expect it to win, period. I didn't expect it to win clean. I was completely surprised. Like, I literally had to go back and watch that this morning because I couldn't believe it happened. And I still wonder, like, where do you go from here to Mania? Like, I think we got to get Rhea Bianca. I just don't know if it's not for the title, which I don't think that served the purpose for WrestleMania. But I didn't want a triple threat either. So I'm just trying to still figure out where do we go from here. And I'm not saying I don't like the storyline. I'm just saying that it was surprising. And I got to figure out. Do I like this storyline without Rhea being the title holder going in the Mania? If this was after Mania, I've been cool with it. But going into it, I feel like it just throws off the potential card that I had in my mind.
I actually agree with you. I do agree with you. Justin, what's your thoughts on this?
I actually agree with what you said about the other match for this match. I think to have a Rhea Bianca build-up doesn't do justice within a month's time. I would like that to be long term. I would like that to be a little bit longer of a build-up. So for them to have a championship match out of nowhere, I'm like, yo, y'all can do so much more with these two. So I don't mind Io being the bridge to build up that backup storyline that's eventually going to take over, even if it's at WrestleMania. Io gets her shine. Shout out to you. You're not going to hold the title for too long. Even if you beat Bianca, we're going to know it's either because of Jade or Rhea interfering some kind of way. So she might actually have a 2-month, 3-month title reign. So shout out to Io on that. But we all here for the other matches. We all here for the Jade. We all here for Bianca. We're here for Rhea. She's just a side note that just got it's in the
So
right
that's why I
spot.
don't
right
like
time.
it. That's why I don't like it. I don't think you needed to insert her. Now, if you're telling me in 3 weeks, because remember, WrestleMania is not until April 20th. So it's not 4 weeks away. Today's the 4th of March. Like, that's almost 2 months. So, like, that's plenty of time. To me, a story like Bianca and Rhea doesn't need 3 months of build. That's the two biggest, baddest women we've had since what? 2020? Like, they've both been on a collision course. They've never touched. They've never had a match. Yeah, on SmackDown, you got Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. That match maybe needs a little bit more story building. I get that. But these two, I don't think the story is easily told. The two best athletes, the two most dominant champions over the last 5 years on a collision course. They started in NXT together. NXT UK for Rhea. They've been dominating on both ends of the spectrum. I don't think that story needs a lot. I think throwing Io in there gives you storyline longevity for these next 6 to 8 weeks before Mania. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do something to get Io out of that match between now and Mania. Because I think going into it, everybody just expects, oh, we know who's getting pinned. You know what I mean? To me, whenever my mindset is it's a triple threat and I know who's taking the pin, that's not a good triple threat. A triple threat should be anybody can take the loss. And to me, we know Bianca's protected. We know Rhea's protected until last night, what we saw. To me, her taking that loss actually takes a little bit off her specialness away because that means she's been losing too much. I thought it was unrealistic when she lost. I mean, it was more realistic when she lost to Liv Morgan because at least she had an injured arm. You know what I mean? Well, she might even vacated the title. Then she had to vacate the title, Kevin. The last time, I don't think she lost clean.
Yeah, that's how Liv Morgan ended up with the title.
Yeah, she injured the shoulder.
Yeah.
She injured her shoulder.
So that's the first clean loss for Rhea Ripley in a long time. So to me, if you're going to lose,
but it's slight distraction.
Yeah, true. But do you want your champions winning titles like that? If she loses like that at Mania, I'll tip my hat. But again, I like the unexpectedness of it on Raw. But I agree with you, Calvin. That could have been done a little bit differently. But I'm not going to complain about variety and try and do something different on a Monday night show. I'm not going to get mad at it. But I just think that match could have been protected a little bit more.
I hope she doesn't lose before Mania either.
Yeah, I mean, I just like that matchup between Rhea and Bianca, and I think that would have been good for this Mania. Other match from Elimination Chamber, one of the best matches I've seen, period. Like, I watch a lot of wrestling. But KO and Sammy, they beat the hell out of each other. Kevin, what did you think?
I walked in. Of all the matches that night, that was the match I cared about the least. I just didn't care. I was like, okay, I get it. KO's mad at anybody, whatever.
Cared about that tag team match?
Exactly.
Hey,
I didn't put that on the slideshow.
You know what? You're completely right. I forgot. I forgot about that match.
You ain't care about Randy coming back?
It was sensational the way
I
they
mean,
did. But go ahead.
I didn't know Randy was coming back till the end of the
surprise.
match.
Yeah.
It was a get. I was assuming. I was hoping. I ain't know. But yeah, been watching these two just beat the bricks off of each other. I didn't even think they had it in them like that. I enjoyed that was one of those things. Enjoyed everything about it. I can't like this yet again has elevated Sami Zayn up a little bit more in my mind. Like, all right, this little Canadian man can go. Kevin Owens. Like, when was the last time Kevin Owens was not at least in a solid storyline? The man just keeps going, and that now you come right back into now he's about to have a whole feud with Randy. It was a very entertaining match. It came out so much better and so much more entertaining than I thought it would.
I know you weren't interested in this matchup, Justin. What did you think of the match itself?
I mean, it was cool. I knew there was one. I disagree with KD. I mean, but that was his thoughts. But I knew they was going to perform very well. They know each other too well. They know each other. They know that I'm going to hurt you, but understand that I'm your brother at the same time too, right? So I I knew it was gonna be a crazy match. It was thumbtacks and all. Like I enjoyed all of it. But yes, the payoff was Randy coming out.
Yeah.
Also, the payoff was Sami Zayn. Like, yo, I thought you was done, bro. I thought you was done about 2-3 times. And you just kept. I was like, yo, give up, bro. Like, but no. The main payoff was Randy. I wish they would have let him get the punt off. I really.
I like what they did. I like that they didn't. You gotta hold it.
Save it. Save it.
Gotta hold it off.
All right, y'all can have that one. But no, shout out to Randy finally coming back, and I like to see all three of them go. I think Sami deserves a vacation.
But you don't want too many children.
Yeah,
that's what I said. I think Sami deserves a vacation. He's been putting in a lot of work for an extended period of time, so he can have his vacation right now. And I'd like to see Randy and KO go for a little bit.
Yeah, I think the payoff of this match was Randy coming back, so I'm not upset at it. And you planted the seeds, and you know we get that viper, that that sadistic, that vengeance coming out of Randy. So I think that's going to be the payoff for this match. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Well, on Monday Night Raw, it kicked off. Phew, man, one of the best promos you will hear in modern day wrestling was from CM Punk to kick off Raw last night. The guy came out. He tried to do a pipe bomb. I mean, but he was throwing flames, boy. And he took shots at The Rock. He took shots at John Cena. He took shots at Seth Rollins. He even threw Becky Lynch in there. Like the man was like spitting fire.
Becky responded too.
She did. try to set up a mixed tags match. It should look like. Try to say look like you try to accuse my man sleeping with Roxanne Perez. I'm like, oh man.
Okay, matching gear. What?
Yeah. So you might get a mixed tag with AJ Lee coming back. I never know. Look out for that. But that led to one of the best pull-apart brawls you will ever see. Guys, if you missed it, go back and watch it. They were really that was real. They were like there was some shoot punches. Apparently in the back, it was some busted lips. It was some real bruised people swelled up. Like they was laying it in for real. Like they've had issues in the past. Well, in real life they still do. But that was one of the best pull-apart brawls you will see on television, and the crowd was eating it up. Excellently done. Justin, what was your thoughts on the opening for Raw last night? Good God, all
right, so it's two things here. First thing is the crowd got so behind this confrontation. If you notice, when Jay came out, it wasn't the same level of heatness going on, right? Because they was already at an all-time high with the Punk joint. So that's how impactful that was. And secondly, they was going back and forth. To me, the best part was at the end when they was in the locker room in the backstage joint. And they saw each other. They was interviewing Seth, and Seth just looked over and just said, "It's on site now." he just said, "Hell with it now. I gotta finish it out, right?" So just that level of man, F it, man. Let's just keep rocking. That's real. That I enjoyed it, and I can't wait for this match.
Yeah. Kevin,
anytime you can start making me genuinely think, damn, yo, these dudes might actually hate each other. I think they actually like yo, they scrapping for real. Yo, do y'all have problems in the back? Do y'all need to go mediate with Triple H or something? What's going on here? You do that for me, you sold it. You were giving me a show. That's exactly what I want. Punk came out and killed it. No matter, he may not quite have what is needed in the ring no more, but that man can still kill it on the mic.
He wasn't bad on Saturday. He wasn't bad. No, he wasn't bad.
Saturday was one of the best performances he'd had since he'd been back. But all of that was just perfect. You laying in the real solid shots. You setting up possible fights for Punk in the future, while also about to give us what somehow is going to end up still being a main event at WrestleMania.
I don't know how they get there, but they're going to get there some kind of way. Calvin, what was your thoughts?
Excellent start to Raw. Excellent, soon as the cuts on. I don't think you could have started post Elimination Chamber Raw any better than with Punk and Rollins.
Mhm.
I wanted to lead somewhere without Roman personally. Maybe that's asking too much, but I think they deserve their own storyline. They deserve their own build-up. They deserve their own fight at some point. Just those two. I mean, I hope it doesn't get too real in the long run, but I think we all deserve it.
Well, they will be going head to head next Monday night on Raw in a steel cage match. Now we know how steel cage matches go.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be keep everybody out, but some kind of way somebody always gets involved. So will this be the night that Roman shows up, gets his revenge on Seth Rollins? Because remember, Roman hasn't been seen since Rollins gave him that curb stomp on the floor and then on the steps, both at the Rumble. We have not seen Roman Reigns since. Is this the time to bring him back? Kevin, do you want to see Roman inserted into this for a triple threat at WrestleMania?
No, but I wouldn't hate it because I figure if that would be their little trick of a way to elevate it to that level match. Because as we all know, this steel cage match, it's gonna happen, but it's not really gonna happen. No one's gonna actually get decided as a winner in this. So it's gonna keep building into something else.
And they have Madison Square Garden in New York, so that's why they booked this. That's your traditional match for Madison Square Garden.
Okay. But my thing is like you said, like I don't know. I don't need Roman Reigns in this match. We don't. Y'all need to. It's about time for y'all to set something. If you want a Roman Reigns storyline, give him his own. He's not so far.
I mean, I think the threads are there though. We remember the favor that Heyman asked for Punk. That's all there. Seth Rollins, it's there. It's really there. They can tell the story.
But they don't need it.
Yeah, I just think WrestleMania, you gotta have Roman on the show. You know what I mean? Like, unless he's going against Solo, and you don't, who wants to see that as a Mania match? Now, if Jacob Fatu, maybe if that's what you want to go, but it seems like they going Fatu babyface. That's what it feel like to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I wouldn't mind Fatu and Roman at Mania. It might be an angle they can go. But anyway, Justin, what's your thoughts on this match? How do you see it going clean? Do you see Roman getting involved, or do we get some type of decisive finish next Monday night? Because, matter of fact, Drew doesn't have an official match, so we know he's been involved with these two as well. Maybe they've moved on from that because I hear Drew might have a direction with Damian Priest. I don't know if that's a different direction, but what do you see here, Justin?
I don't see Roman. I mean, if they want to add him, then it's just adding to the fire. They don't need them. These two are enough. CM Punk can carry. CM Punk was the other person that was making WWE interesting, along with the Ula Fowler, right? Him and Drew going back and forth. That was he can sell it off a bracelet. So that's what CM Punk can do. And then you have Rollins pretty much being unleashed and going and saying whatever he wants at the same time as well. These are two headliners. I don't need a third headliner here. And then especially if you add the fact that if I'm going to bring Becky Lynch and I'm going to bring AJ Lee out of retirement just for some appearances alone, I don't need Roman here. Yeah, these 2/4.
This might be the match. You know what? This might be the singles match, but that mixed tag I alluded to earlier might be the Mania match. Because WWE has traditionally done a mixed tag. We've seen it before with Ronda Rousey teaming with Kurt Angle versus Stephanie and Triple H. We've seen other mixed tags with that edge to it. And Becky doesn't have a match. We know she's coming back. Who's she slotted with? Who's her natural opponent? But that could have been what sparked it last night, and then I mean,
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at Mania because you're not trying to force Becky into something in 4 or 5 weeks. You can let something naturally develop after this because it's going to be one and done, really. In regards to her perspective, not with Rollins and Punk. So I don't mind seeing that.
Yeah, and I think it actually tells a decent story as well. So yeah, every match can't be the main event at Mania. We already know that.
Right.
But bringing AJ Lee back, Punk's wife, I think he'll be more than happy with that. to give his wife the rub. You know what I mean? I think he'll be fine, and he'll have plenty of big matches coming up with Cena. He got matches. He got potential matches with Roman. He got potential matches with Cody. Like he ain't gonna have. He got no shortage of
he's good
matchups,
especially on pay-per-view match. He's good. He's good.
That the thing is, you always gotta be worried about these stars getting frustrated and temperamental. But I think that kind of stage, give him a match with his wife, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yep.
Another thing they built up a little bit. Jey Uso came out to save after Gunther was dominating. Had a good big man match against my man Otis. I enjoyed it. And but Jey ended up getting choked out after he got jumped by what's the Kangaroo Boys, whatever their names are. Austin Theory. Your boy.
Kangaroo Boy.
But anyway, Jey has been doing a good job on the mic. I like his promo. I think he's actually improving. I think this time between Rumble and Mania has actually helped him, in my opinion. Because remember the emotions that overtook him night after Rumble, and he's kind of lost his place here and there. But I think he's got more and more comfortable. And I think they're really building this story very slow and really making it impactful. Gunther saying you're not on my level. And has it made the fans believe in Jey more, want to see him win? I think so. So I think it's kind of working. What's your thoughts, Kevin?
This one is, when he first won, of course, so many people thought, oh, no, how they going to do this? No, I look at it this way. Now that we've seen Gunther beat Jey, what, 2-3 times? Now everybody, for the title.
No, you beat him twice.
Main event.
You beat him twice. You beat him twice.
So now we got 2. Jey is going in as the underdog babyface. It's set up too perfectly for him to pull this off. Because when Theory and Waller ran into the ring, he looked like Superman for a minute. Yeah, he got jumped for a second. Then he dropped both of them. Till Gunther slid in the ring and choked him out. So Jey they set it up so that Jey looks strong. Gunther's out here squashing people. You are properly building this match to make it really matter. And you're setting it up for the people so that you can have your hero moment. Plus,
overcome.
I truly think one of the best ways to set this up is to give Jey Uso his own move. Don't have him beat Gunther with the Uso splash or the spear or none of that. Give him his own move. Now it is truly distinct. He is now full on his own entity, not just, he's Jey Uso, but he's also just, another one of them. They all do the same moves. Make them special. That's all.
And I've always said this, and I think Roman might be the exception, but I don't think he is, because he even adopted the front face lock. Remember, he started choking people out with that. He choked Jey out with it. Remember that? Yeah, he choked him out. But most main eventers, if you go through history, I think Austin might be the exception, but even he had the $1 Million Dream. You need a solid submission. You need a submission. I think Shawn Michaels might be the only guy. He would use Ric Flair's figure four here and there. But you need us like Cena. When Cena matches started to get compelling, what did he start using? That crossface thing he would use. Yep. You know what I mean? The STF thing. Any star you can name, and when you want to make heat get in your matches, that's what Jay's missing. His moveset isn't as elaborate as some of the stars you're used to, because he doesn't have that heat spot where you put the move in. The crowd thinking, oh, he might tap. He don't have it.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the only stars that I can think of, like major stars. Punk God, Anaconda Vice.
Undertaker had it.
Undertaker, once he got the Hell's Gate. All of the biggest matches you can think of with the dramatics, you got to have a submission where people thinking it could end right here. And that's what gets the crowd heat. He doesn't have it. So I agree with you, Kevin. He does need to add another move to his arsenal. Bret had the sharpshooter. Like I say, Austin $1 Million Dream, he didn't necessarily need. Rock did the sharpshooter.
Did the sharpshooter,
I'm just saying, you need it. You need that move. Justin, what's your thoughts? This matchup? Do you feel the build towards Mania has been going well?
So I thought that was going too well for Jay, and it got me worried. because he cleaned house when he came out. I was like, he did
Yeah.
it again. Like he keeps doing it. Like he got to get his ass kicked eventually along his path. Like I know he lost to Gunther, but
It's such a long way to Mania.
right, like, but it's still like you want to keep doing this week in, week out. So they got it out the way, so he could have another stretch of being Super J. I'm okay with that, but I needed to see it. I needed to see his what that picture. I needed to see that frame. I needed to see
something
that.
to overcome. Mm-hmm.
Right, so it's good that he came back down to reality. And Gunther is the champion right now, so it all works for me. It all works.
Yeah, Calvin, you feeling it?
I'm feeling it because with everything that's gone on the last couple of weeks with Rock and Cena, I missed this storyline, so it took a seat on it, took a back seat to it. So now that I actually had a chance to see it again on Monday and kind of refresh it, I missed it. So yes, I do think the storyline is building appropriately, but more so I think because we had something overshadow it, and it's just not this consistently week after week after week. And now I remember, what Jay did at Royal Rumble. I remember the night after. I remember him getting built up to this point. So now, yes, I do appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to it. You couldn't now a month ago. 3 weeks ago, I may not have said that fresh off Royal Rumble, but now I think it's different.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, you got to keep stories alive, but you want to give it a chance to breathe as well. That's why traditionally wrestling companies, they do injury angles where they take a guy away for a few weeks, let the crowd miss him, and then they do a valiant return. You know what I mean? Like, because, again, when you do monthly pay-per-views, that's 4 weeks. You got a 4-week cycle, next show. But when you got, remember, traditionally, WrestleMania is the first weekend in April. This year is not to the third weekend of April. So you got an additional 3 weeks to build this show. And after Elimination Chamber, that's a long stretch before you get to Mania.
6 weeks, 7
now
weeks.
You got to really put your chops in to build a story, keep it sustained, because if you peak everything just after the Elimination Chamber, right now, I could watch Austin and Rock and Cody and all that stuff right now because it's hot. You know what I mean? Yep. But they have to sustain that heat. And in years past, we've seen them fumble it. You know what I mean? Like it was hot, and then they do too much. They add too many twists and turns. Remember that year that everybody was excited. NWO was coming back. Everybody like, oh man. And then they just started doing all this convoluted stuff. And like by the time Mania came, nobody cared no more. You can't lose the momentum. It's the thing. And with Gunther, I think he is such a good wrestler. I think they've been smart the last couple weeks. I think last week he fought Tozawa. This week he fought Otis. It keeps him in front of the camera. It lets him do some mic work. And Jay's been like the valiant hero coming down in little spots here and there. It plays to the strengths, let the crowd do their yeeting. But he needed, like Justin made a good point, you need to get your ass whipped. You know what I mean? You got to build some heat so the crowd sees something to come back from. So final thing, Pentagon has been in WWE since premiere on Netflix about around that time, maybe week 2 or 3.
Yeah. So a little after that, yeah. If
you know anything about Penta, man, the guy's one of the best luchas in the world. He's a main eventer in MLW, AAA, AEW. They really use him predominantly as a tag team guy. Well, good news, folks. His partner, his brother, Ray Phoenix, is finally free. Got his contract released from AEW this past week, and he will be showing up in WWE pretty soon. If you've never seen the Lucha Brothers, man, you're in for a treat. I kind of like Penta as a single. I hope they keep that consistent and let Phoenix be a single. I think they should tag here and there, but I would not slot these guys solely as tag team guys. Kevin, I know you've watched them many times. What's your thoughts on Lucha Brothers linking back up in WWE?
I mean, for one, let's be real. Love these dudes. They are friggin' great. They always want to bring in the new Rey Mysterio. They always want to bring in that big luchador.
They their own guys.
Here you go. Now don't try to push them as the new Rey Mysterios.
You don't need
to. These can be your new lucha guys. Everyone is already loving the Zero Fear. Come on, it's already set up. But like you said, don't make them a tag team. If you force them into a tag team very quickly, everyone will stop caring. because
They
I don't know
pigeonhole
what
them.
it is. Yes, you will pigeonhole them, and I don't know what it is. The tag team division they can't keep it heated up well. They just can't.
Mm-mm.
Like right now, off the top of my head, I don't remember who the tag team champions are on either show. So
The Viking
don't be
Raiders
pressing.
on Raw,
and who
and
cares? And
and
not the Machine.
yeah.
No, it's Ciampa and
is it
Tommaso
Austin
and
Theory?
whatchamacallit.
Oh yeah,
No.
it is
Yeah.
Ciampa and
Exactly.
Gargano. I
Who
like them,
cares?
but I mean,
know.
I like them though. They good wrestlers, and I like the Motor City Machine Guns. Like they got good performers. I'm
They
not
have
taking
good
that away
teams.
from them.
It's just you don't care.
They don't.
And
They
if they-
not main event
It's
worthy.
not. Yes, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
I
And
think some of the
yeah.
most impactful teams are when you take two major stars and put them together as a team, and that's what this is. Because if you've never seen Ray Phoenix in the ring, you're in for a treat. He's actually
Mhm.
physically one of the most gifted wrestlers you'll ever watch in wrestling. Like he's actually sensational. So I'm excited for the guy to come in because he can do all kinds of things
Everything.
that I don't think too many people in WWE can do. Dragon Lee can do it, but they don't let him. But man, I can't wait, man. Calvin, have you ever seen the Lucha Brothers? What's your thoughts?
Yes. So I'm excited for the matches that they will have with wrestlers who may not even be on that level, because I think they can carry matches, and I think that, and if you can bring, like Kevin was saying, legitimacy back to the tag team titles in on either brand, then that's a plus as well. I just hope they're given the proper title reign, and I hope that they have opponents that will be able to sustain their run.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the key as well. If they're at the top, but there's no other opponents, then that storyline becomes stale. Now we're at the same issue that we're having right now. So
yeah,
it's a good and a bad problem to have. I think they could be the best tag team, but I don't know if they will have competition. If you don't have competition, like I said, it just becomes stale, in my opinion.
Well, that's why I think it's important. Like I mentioned with the Street Profits, I don't mind you still being cool with your partner. Like when it's need be to have a partner, these are natural partners. But I think they can still be standalone singles wrestlers. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You don't necessarily need to always be in tag team matches. But I do think it is, if you want a team to elevate the tag team division, this is the team. Them and the Viking Raiders can have some great matches. Put them in the ring with the Motor City Machine Guns. See what they do. Put them in the ring with Gargano and Ciampa. See what they do. That's what I'm saying. I wish that they treated the men's tag team division like they do the women, where the champions can travel back and forth from both shows. You don't need two sets of men's tag team titles. There should be one tag team champion that travels from Raw and SmackDown and even in NXT. And the best of the best should be the tag team champions, and they should be eligible for all three shows, in my opinion. The same, I think that should be the same with all the titles, to be honest with you. Now, I can see getting away with the World Heavyweight title and the WWE title. I don't have no problem with that. But the women's title, you only need one women's championship. You don't need Tiffany Stratton to have one title and Bianca what is her name? Io Sky to have one. It should be one women's champion. You ain't got that many women that deserve to be world champion. Like same with the tag team title.
If you do that, then you can't have Raw. You can't have a Raw women's roster and a SmackDown women's roster, in my opinion.
You can. You can have the champion travel to both and set up number one contender.
I think you need to have the champ, the top contenders travel to both as well. It doesn't make sense for the champ to travel to both and have contenders on both brands, in my opinion.
Why not? Think about it.
It's still
if I go to Raw one week, you the challenger, I face you that week. If I go to SmackDown and you the number one contender, I face you. Maybe at the pay-per-view, if the feud is big enough, y'all get the title match at the pay-per-view. I think, we just had a pay-per-view where Gunther didn't even defend the title. That happens all the time where we got champions who not on pay-per-view. I think this is how it used to be when we had the brand distinction. Remember we had Raw pay-per-views and SmackDown pay-per-views, and that everybody didn't perform on both shows. I hated that. But it did give you the opportunity to see some different people. You know what I mean? But I think when you oversaturate it to the point where you need to make sure that this person, now you got a women's intercontinental champion and a women's U.S. champion on each brand. That's just too many titles, man. Like, nobody's special if they all got belts. Kevin, tell me I'm wrong. Yo, ahead eating this dinner.
A little bit. My bad.
I thought he was doing mute for a second.
The thing is, you got to look at it. You got tiers of wrestlers. You can't have all the women on both brands just going after one world title. Then it flips you over to having too many people going after one thing.
That's why you got the Intercontinental title for the women. I can see having one mid-card title, just like they do the men. They should have one mid-card title for the women and one world championship, because that's how we used to treat. Right now, whoever real title is the real world women's champion. The other title is like the secondary title. Why not just make it that? The same with the men. Let's be honest with you. I love Gunther. I love Jay. But that is not Cody's title. You know what I mean? Cody's title is the real world championship. The other one is the other.
Have that title.
Chill out, bro.
Yeah.
But
You're
that's how
incorrect there,
people
Justin.
perceive it. That's how people perceive it. It was Roman's belt. Roman's belt was the real world championship. That other belt was created like within the last few years. So of course it's not going to have the same prestige as the WWF title. That's what I'm saying. As far as with the women, you only need one world championship. Like that's the title that Rhea and Bianca and them going to be wrestling over. The other title should be the Intercontinental title for women. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm happy the Lucha Brothers be back together. I hope, Justin, you have any thoughts on Rey Fenix coming in, WWE joining his brother Pentagon, and it should be some great action. What's your thoughts?
Is this the topic that I missed?
Yeah.
Good.
You're happy.
Next.
Yeah, look terrible, man. I tell you. He's an AEW hater. Grow up. So Mania is April 19th and 20th. We're on the road there. Other matches on the horizon will be laid out over the next few weeks. Is everybody excited for Mania? Calvin, what's your thoughts heading into Mania season before we get out of here?
The card is slowly coming together. The storylines are being built. We just had a heel turn on Saturday night, slowly building up the WrestleMania, trying to top last year's WrestleMania, which I think is going to be very hard just with everything that happened last year. But we on the way. We on the way. And you still got 5-6 weeks to build up slowly. Hopefully Cena makes a couple more appearances. Hopefully, Rock makes a couple more appearances. Hopefully we get a Roman addition to start slowly adding into there as well. I'm excited for there are so many possible storylines. I think we all know where we want it to end up and where we hope it ends up and where most likely it's going to end up. But there are so many different ways to get there, and I think that's the exciting piece of it.
Justin.
For a 2-night event, I think it's probably gonna be one of the better overall WrestleManias in quite some time.
This is the what year they've had 2-night events?
Third, maybe fourth.
I thought I'm
fourth. Yeah, I think the first one was the Austin one. The one when
the one in Texas, in Dallas.
Finished Saturday night. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and I do expect Austin to be here for this one as well. He should have been on the last one, but they couldn't get his contract right. So I'm quite sure they can work that out within another year. So I definitely think Austin will be here as well. I think from top to bottom, both women's card, both men's card, I think we're in for some really, really good matches for those 2 days. I'm
100%.
happy.
Yeah. And Kevin, man, it's been a pleasure having you on tonight. We appreciate you joining us for the wrestling segment tonight, and we're going to be sure to do this because we're going to be checking on the wrestling every week. So if you're up to it, we'll have you on for the wrestling segment here and there on the road to WrestleMania. What's your thoughts on WrestleMania and where things are building from here? What's your thoughts before we get out
I think
here?
the card is actually building up pretty well. Like you said, we've seen what the women matches are going to be. We've seen what the men's titles matches are going to be. I think, like you said, we need to throw a little more heat on that Tiffany Stratton Charlotte Flair one, because everything about that is kind of like, I'm not that pressed for Charlotte to be getting another title shot. I kind of like Tiffany Stratton as champion, but we'll see. Y'all gotta build this up a little bit more to make it really matter. But other than that, everything else is cooking real well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, brother. Kevin, we thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll have you back in a couple weeks. All right?
Yep.
Holla. All right, gentlemen, let's keep it moving in the world of sports. This past Saturday
I
night,
felt like he was still talking, and then he got disconnected kind of way.
I
I
think
felt like he wasn't finished.
I think he disconnected himself. So this past Saturday night, in addition to Elimination Chamber, we had a boxing fight that took place in Brooklyn, New York, at the Barclays Center, and it featured a fighter who was born and raised in the city of Baltimore, Maryland. You wouldn't know it by that hat that he got on his head as he walks to the ring, with a member of Dipset on each side of him, and Jim Jones and Joel Santana, and a New York Yankees ball cap. When this happened, we were at the Green Turtle in Towson, and I said to Rick and Nick, I said, guys, Tank's losing tonight. I'm sorry. It's a bad omen. You're from Baltimore, Maryland. I don't care where the fight's at. I don't care who came and bought tickets. If the fight was in Pittsburgh, would you come out there with a Steelers jersey on? And how would the fans feel about it? Huh? How would your people in Baltimore feel about it if you got there? It's the same thing if you're Orioles City and the Yankees hat is on your head. You were born and raised. Now, Carmelo Anthony, I know I don't like a lot of things he's done, but so my cousin DM me, cousin Jamon, shout out to you. You made a great point, and that's fine. I'm going to have to live with it. Melo was born up in New York until he was 8 years old, and then he moved to Baltimore. I always knew that, and that's fine. But he always said in interviews that Baltimore raised him. Baltimore was his home. He always gave credit to Baltimore. So I'm always going to take him for that. So when he did that I'm home stuff, and this is always the only home I love, when he went to New York, he was pandering to those fans. But Tank, for you to pander in such a way on national cable, pay-per-view, and you go out there and put that performance on, I'm glad you donned that New York hat, because that's how you fought. You fought like a New Yorker. You didn't fought like you was from Baltimore. You didn't represent us well because you didn't want to represent us. So I said to Nick, I said to Rick, that he's losing tonight. I feel it. I was disgusted. I went on and on about this for about 20 minutes. I was pissed. And then you go out there and perform like that, and then you got the nerve to blame the grease in your head for why you decided to take a knee. Now look, Tank was doing well. I didn't think he was losing the fight. I think later in the rounds, in the 9th round, it had no reason for him to go over there and drop down to a knee, and for it not to be called a knockdown. I've been watching boxing my whole life. If you decide to walk away from the action after the guy's punching you and decide, I want to take a knee because I need a timeout, there's no timeouts in the middle of a fight. You don't take a timeout. If you go down, that is a knockdown. We all know that. We've been watching boxing our whole lives. I don't want Tank to lose. I'm not out to get him, but you got to call a spade a spade. Fair is fair. And Tank did not use his brain. His corner man was different for this fight. I don't know why he changed it. The advice wasn't there. No more Floyd in his corner telling him what to do. Maybe that was a distraction, but he never lost when Floyd was there. That's another, he needed to hit on there. Calvin, you watched the fight. What was your thoughts on everything that went down on Saturday night from the walkout to the end?
So you wanted him to come out with an Orioles fitted next to Tim Trees? Shout out Tim Trees.
Whatever works.
Okay.
He could have played club music all the way down to the. He ain't need no live performance. He's had live performance.
Didn't he's had Meek? Didn't he, I want to say he's had Meek Mill or
Did he have on a Phillies hat? I don't care about the performance. That performance is not the issue.
You're talking about the hat. The fight was in Brooklyn, which is in the New York State. He came out with 2 members of Dipset from Harlem, another borough of New York.
The Yankees play in the Bronx.
I've heard more people say this, and in my opinion, New York fitted was always like a staple. In my opinion, it's like a staple. It's like it's a part of your fashion sense. Everyone had one during the point. It didn't mean you were a Yankees fan. It just meant
what?
Denim. Yeah. But besides that, going to the fight, this was Tank's worst performance that I've seen. He needed to get back with O's coach, in my opinion. One thing I hate. Go ahead. The one thing I hate is he gave all these DC Negroes hope. Between the Commanders and Roach, these DC people have been talking sports nonstop.
They said he don't even represent us. He wore a Yankees hat. Go ahead.
And I hate to give DC fans hope in any aspect of sports. I hate them with a passion. And that's the one reason I'm pissed at Tank. Because I got these DC fans in my head talking about the Commanders and then talking about Roach and then they talking about the Woe versus the Dump. Like that was just pissing me off. I'm scared. Sorry about that. But in my opinion, Tank need to get back to the drawing board. And one thing I didn't hear a lot of people saying is him talking about retirement. I don't know if he was really into this fight like he should. I think he went through the motions of this fight, and that's dangerous when you're in this type of sport. We've seen other fighters go through that, but when you talk about retirement and you talk about and you seem not to be putting your all into it, there's power in those words, and his actions back those words that he wasn't into it. And he was not into it from the jump. Roach actually got in there tight with him and was taking his punches and landing punches back. We haven't seen that from anyone Tank fought. Roach's power was able to affect Tank on more than one occasion, not just with him taking a knee, which I think him was a knockdown, but his power was able to affect him throughout the fight. And he was lucky to escape with a draw. And I don't know if Roach is actually going to appeal the decision. I heard rumors about that. I heard
it's already been appealed.
Okay. I don't know when that's going to be overturned. It's going to be 30-0-1 to 30-1. But you got to go back to the drawing board. You got to get Roach a rematch. You have to beat him decisively before you're able to move on. And now all of a sudden you see Tank say, "Now I got 3 or 4 more fights in me," because you saw what happened when you weren't focused. You thought it was going to be an easy walkthrough and you'd be on to the next payday, and that's not what happened. And you almost got your first out.
Well, it's a couple things at stake here. His all-time legacy has been put in jeopardy because you always want to think about that when it comes to boxing. Is he on his Tyson vibe, where as though you think that you're starting to be bigger than the people that got you there? Hence, you have issues with the person that got you there. You bring in somebody new, and now you're boxing. You're not the same guy anymore, right? So hopefully he can get back to that. Well, these are things that can be fixed. His opponent was, I noticed something about Tank's opponents for the majority of them. If they're heavy and they try to cut weight, I feel as though that's the worst type of person in that situation to go against Tank, because he's going to destroy him. Because you look like a shell of yourself, like Ron Garcia. Ron Garcia looked like he was dead near a skeleton, and it just didn't. You're not your best. This Roach dude, he fights at 130, and he's naturally taller than Tank. So all he did was add weight, which is probably what he did. He added a little bit of weight / muscle. And all that was just natural. It was natural for him. So he didn't look frail. He looked like this is my boxing weight. Like I am at my premier shape right now. And he was able to take some shots from the Tank. And that's one thing I noticed. People really don't take shots like that from he took Tank's shots pretty convincingly. And he was the aggressor at the same time too. He kept the fight going. He wasn't ducking Tank at all. So I think because of all those things, and plus the knockdown, which I think this is what happened. I heard somebody say it. My man Kenny broke it down to me at the shop. It looked like his hair got caught, and then at the same simultaneously he got punched while the hair was in his face. So the hair pretty much got into his eye, and that's what caused the irritation. Not necessarily grease pouring down, whatever, but. Neither here nor there, it doesn't matter. It's still a knockdown, or whatever. So when I hear Bud Crawford, Floyd Mayweather, and just different boxing elitists say, that boy got robbed. Well, yes, if you really think about it, and just cut everything out and just say if it was a draw and they didn't count the knockdown. Well, if they count the knockdown, it's no longer a draw. It's simple as that. So I think the boy did get robbed, but Tank got luck. Well, for now, because the appeal process has been put out there. But for now, he doesn't have a loss he doesn't have a loss yet. So we're gonna keep that going. Hopefully he can humble himself. Hopefully he can get back with his trainer. Hopefully he can get back with what he does best. Hopefully he rocks an Orioles hat. And hopefully the next fight is a much better fight for him. He didn't give a bad fight. It just wasn't a Tank fight.
No. And that's what, I wanted to make that point. Honestly, Tank was winning the fight for the majority of the fight. It wasn't until maybe the 7th round, because I called the 9th round as the round I thought Tank was going to finish him. Before the walkouts, all that. Once the walkout happened, I said, I don't feel the vibes, something not right. Look, I'm about vibes, man. Look, also, another thing I didn't like, because even early on in those rounds where Tank traditionally fills the opponent out, he doesn't do a lot. He doesn't throw a lot of shots. He waits. He's a counter puncher. If you watch Tank fight, he's not always the aggressor. He wants you to take the shots, and he was waiting to counter. Well, Roach did a great job as Justin, you say he was the aggressor. Not necessarily in a traditional way. He was not the aggressor. He was waiting, and it made Tank impatient. And that's where the trainer comes from. That's where the trainer normally settles Tank in and makes him stick to the game plan. If you watch, every time between rounds, they was in Tank's corner. They wasn't in Roach's corner that often, but when they was, Roach wasn't breathing heavy, was very disciplined, listened to a sound counsel, just looking straight ahead. Wasn't nothing bothering him. The man looked cooler than the other side of the pillow. You go over the Tank side, he was looking all over the place, talking like he just wasn't paying attention, wasn't focused. And then you go out in the round, and then the crowd was impacting Tank because they wasn't getting excited. Anytime Roach would hit a shot, the crowd would go, ooh, and that would frustrate Tank. So then he started pressing, and that gets out of his game plan. Then exactly what Tank typically would do, that's what Roach started doing. Tank would go in for a shot, and Tank kept ducking his head down, reaching for punches, and Roach was just tagging him, tagging. And if you look at the comp box numbers, yes, Tank's percentages were higher, and typically if you are an accurate fighter, your percentages are going to be higher. But his output was nearly not enough of what he typically does. He was very much so not in his game plan, and Roach just picked him apart, especially in round 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think he won almost every round, the back end of the fight. I think Tank maybe you can make a case for him for round 8, but for the majority, and that's the problem. When you win the back half of the fight, that's the last impression the fans will have and the judges will have.
Did you have a problem with
scorecards? Huh?
Did you have a problem with scorecards?
No, not necessarily. The only thing I had an issue with was the fact that he didn't count the knockdown. And that's boxing, man. Boxing is boxing. I don't care whose name is on the back of the trunks. I don't care. If you take a knee and stop the action while I'm going forward, there's no blood for the referee. The referee is the only person who can stop the action.
Because if you count the knee, it's unanimous. Because they had one of them had 115, 113, if I remember correctly. So it's unanimous at that point. Yeah. I mean, I thought they gave.
Well, remember, one judge gave it to Tank.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you count the knockdown, then that's tied instead of one being 115, 113. Yeah. The problem I thought they gave Roach like 4 or 5 or 5 and 6. I forgot what rounds it was, and I didn't think he did enough to win those rounds, and it was kind of
But the problem I had with that is I could argue round 1 or 2 because neither one of them did anything in those rounds, and it could have went either way. That's why early just saying Tank won them. They weren't like.
I mean, they weren't decisive victories, but Roach did nothing to win the round, in my opinion. If I'm going with Tank,
yeah. Let's keep it moving. Tank, get your shit together. Next up, let's just touch on a couple of these NFL headlines. So you got a lot of things that happened over the last week. So we just touch on real quick. T. Higgins franchise tag by the Cincinnati Bengals. Calvin, thoughts on that?
I'm surprised. I thought he would. I still think he's going to be traded. I don't see them re-signing Higgins or franchise tagging Higgins, re-signing Chase, re-signing Hendrickson. I think one player to look out for them is Devontae Adams, who got cut by the Jets, and that can be a replacement for Higgins, and he will be a cheaper replacement, and you can then allocate those funds elsewhere. But I'm surprised he got tagged, but I still think he's going to be traded. And I thought he would have been traded to Washington, but they got Debo, so I think that's one less suitor potentially. But I still don't think T. Higgins starts the year in Cincinnati.
Justin, Debo, Washington, thoughts?
Well, one, his ass better get in shape because he ballooning to 225 on up. But having someone the way that he catches the ball, the way that he plays close to the quarterback, and to have someone like JD5 to look for him, it's not the best thing for the rest of the NFC. I'll say that.
All right, Calvin, any thoughts on Debo, or Justin, any thoughts on T? My bad.
No, T is just that was expected. We'll see what they do after that, but this is the player's fault. Should have fought harder against the double franchise tag at least.
Mm-hmm. Calvin, any thoughts on Debo?
No, I mean, I think it's a good move for the Commanders. I think everyone knew they were going to get a receiver. I thought it was going to be T. Higgins. We'll see what happens. But Debo is in the last year of his deal. He's motivated. I think he has potential to have a better year than the last year, potentially have a great year. If you only focus on offense, get him off of special teams in a contract year, in a place that I'm assuming he's going to be happier here than he was in San Francisco, potential for a great year.
Calvin,
and a better quarterback. I didn't even say that.
Did you like your Cowboys re-signing the big fella?
It wasn't necessary. We need a reset. It wasn't necessary, in my opinion. I think you do this if you think that you may make a move on Micah. I think that's part of the reason. But you need so many pieces on defense. He was there last year, and they still had a bad defense. So what does that tell you?
Yeah. Justin, Darius Slay getting let go by the world champion Eagles. Is this a smart move or just a salary cap? It is what it is.
Salary cap casualty. Yes, he's a salary cap casualty. He's a great player. I depending on how much you want, I'm quite sure he's gonna get a lot of suitors. Tampa, shout out to Tampa, go get him if you can. He's a big game player. So any team will be that much better. We'll see. Sometimes it's based off of schemes and things like that. We all remember what happened to Nnamdi Asomugha. He went to Philadelphia from the Oakland, and it was never the same again. So, that does matter. Scheming does matter.
That's true. Matthew Stafford back in LA on a new deal. Calvin?
1-year deal, so we'll see. They're kicking this can down the road. They said they really liked Garoppolo as well, so I don't think they had a problem with not letting Stafford go. And we'll see what type of money he has. That for some reason it hasn't come out yet, but I don't think he got what he wanted. But I think he obviously got more than he has right now. But probably the best quarterback situation as well. Reportedly, Pittsburgh called him and said they would try to trade for him. He said no, so maybe this is just where he wanted to be.
Yeah, and then finally, go ahead, Calvin. I'm Justin.
Say that again.
I said you're not going to leave. You're not going to get him to leave LA. This was just like a big move from ownership to basically his wife telling her to shut the hell up.
Yeah. I mean, they're more. I mean, I think they're a location that he could have thrived in as well. And in regards to Slade, I think he get one for a payday. He got a ring. I think he said he wants to play 1 or 2 more years. Go get that payday now. I don't know where he's going to end up. If he ends up in Baltimore, I wouldn't be upset, but that's not my first option.
Yeah, and then you got Trey Smith for the Chiefs. I thought that was a good decision to bring him back. He was important to them. They got a lot of other issues. Yeah, somebody gonna take a hit, but I thought that was one of those guys that they identified that they definitely need to bring back. And I think it was a smart move on their part to make sure you bring him back, keep him in the fold, because look, in this league, they're hard to come by. So you hear anything else that we didn't cover? Any other moves that were made by the 4 p.m. franchise tags that I didn't cover because I was a busy afternoon. Calvin, anything?
I mentioned earlier, but Devontae got cut, so he's a free agent. So I'm not sure what he's going to end up. I don't think he's going to wait for Rodgers. He's got some potential suitors. Like I said, Cincinnati, if they trade Higgins, he talked about playing with Lamar earlier on the podcast. So I think he's got a number of potential suitors. He can go down to DC as well. So I think he'll be someone that'll be interesting. And with no T. Higgins, he's probably the best receiver on the board. This is somebody I'm missing off the top of my head.
Nah, unless Tyreek was serious about getting moved, but I think he expressed he was just frustrated at the time. So interesting, man. I like I say, the shocker for me was Debo. I would have, huh?
You said the receiver Justin? Godwin is the only other receiver right now.
Would you rather have Devontae or Godwin?
And I hear they talking about trading Ayuk.
Yeah,
I heard that too.
Yeah, you got all that. If you do that,
they gotta pay Brock.
Who you want to throw the ball to?
I'm about to say you get rid of both his receivers. It's an all-white team now. Yeah,
I mean we know he ain't good enough to make a receiver better. So what we doing?
Look at you,
Ricky Parcell.
Let's move on to the NBA. I woke up to some breaking news this morning.
Johnson.
After last night's happening, the Dallas Mavericks got the bad news that we all feared when we saw it when it went down. Kyrie Irving tore his ACL, out for the year. Unfortunate, man. Nobody wants to see that happening to the young fella. The Dallas Mavericks have been one of those teams, man, who's had a worse year, like from everything that has gone down. The Luka coming into, like, they lost in the NBA Finals last year, where they thought, everybody said that Luka didn't show up, he wasn't in good shape. Jaylen Brown took his lunch, really just didn't look good. Came into the season injured, never really gotten back into shape. All of the stuff we heard. Then Nico Harris decides to trade him out of nowhere, sends him to LA, and then injury after injury. AD comes over, he goes down. Gafford. I mean, everything that can go wrong, and then the cap on it all, Kyrie tears his ACL last night. Justin, I'll go to you first. Have you seen a team more snake bitten? And when's the last time you seen a team take this many L's back to back to back? And what's the outcome here?
I have not seen something like this before. It's a first. It's just the basketball gods on Dallas' side. And they just came out and said that they were going to raise ticket prices for the people of Dallas. Like, goddamn, how you going to raise ticket prices and then you get rid of the star of all stars and Luka Doncic, and now LA is the number 2 seed? Like, what damn? Like, this man is about to go head into the playoffs as the top 4 seeds, and you guys are now, with all his injuries, you're not going to make the playoffs, but you won too many games to have like a good odds to get a top 10 draft pick. So you're not going to get one of these 5 stars coming out. So Dallas might have put themselves in that purgatory position that no one wants to be in, when you're not as bad as the worst teams, but you're definitely not as good as the good teams, and you're just stuck. And if they don't do anything with that, even with AD, it doesn't matter. I don't even think AD's coming back this year. So
I feel bad for AD.
Kyrie's not going to return until maybe January, sometime next year. Like, this is bad. This is bad. And it's bad. They don't deserve this. It's nothing they did, but this is what they're doing. I'm hearing more and more people talk about a change in location. I really think that
they going to Vegas.
This could be a reason to go to Vegas. Like, it's there now. Like, nothing else makes sense.
They killed the market.
Nothing else makes sense in this situation. So it is what it is now. They are struggling, and it's not going to get better no time soon.
Calvin, thoughts?
I think with each move and the Nico is going to have to go. Sad to say. I mean, we haven't even given this trade a chance to see what it can do. AD plays 3 quarters. A month later, Kyrie's out for the season. You still haven't had Gafford. Lively is starting to come back. So if you're Dallas and you're 7 months removed from a finals run, and you're not going to make the playoffs, you're not even going to make the play in. If you would have said that 7 months ago, you would have never guessed it. If you said Luka wasn't going to be here, you probably would have said, well, he was injured or something. This is a complete nightmare for Dallas. I can only imagine what Mark Cuban thinks is the minority shareholder now.
Goodness, man.
Is he just watched his beloved Mavericks and everything that he built over the last 20, 25 years and to end up like this? You see Dirk at games in LA rooting on Luka. Dirk is Dallas, and now he's rooting on Luka. Like they're going to do it. They're going to do it.
It's a clear message, man. It is bad, and like I say, I feel terrible for AD. AD did not deserve this, man. Look, it's the business. I get it, but you go from now. He got hurt too, but you go from being in LA with LeBron.
But the team got better without him, so that's even worse.
Yeah, but now he in purgatory. Like, at least he had a chance
with a 5-year contract.
At least he had a chance. Like, this is bad, man. But yeah, I haven't seen a fall like this in a while, man. Maybe the Cleveland Cavaliers after LeBron left, but
since Philadelphia
first time. Well, yeah, you're right. Damn, you're right. It's like Embiid's done for the year. Paul George was done when he took the court initially. Yeah, it's been bad all along. I agree. But on the other side, look at them Los Angeles Lakers, man. 2 seed in the West, like you said. JJ Redick, man, he's got to be in the conversation for Coach of the Year. Right. They've done an excellent job with the rotation with these big men. You've seen Hachimura been out. You've seen, even your boy missing what's his name, the white boy. He missed a couple of games. Austin Reeves missed a couple games. They're still rolling. Like LeBron didn't have a sensational game the other day. Luka steps up. Luka don't have a good game. LeBron steps up. Like
defense playing better.
They've done a good job. Calvin, as our resident Laker fan, what's your thoughts?
It's been a long time coming, but look, the play on the court, JJ Redick's coaching, the young guys stepping up. I think this is one of the few times we've seen these 2 wing guys actually begin to play well. It's not even really a your turn, my turn. It's still within the offense. You still have Austin Reeves when he was in the lineup, handling the ball, getting people involved. You had your young shooters. You have your wing defenders. Vanderbilt came back healthy as well.
He did.
Look, you got to say it starts with JJ Redick, because this is basically, it started off as the same team as last year. Now you insert these new pieces, and they've gotten better with time. They've gotten better defensively without AD, without an established center. This rotation of Jackson Hayes and Alex Len. You've got to give credit to JJ Redick and just whatever his message is, then believing the message and then going out and executing it. They won 5 or 6 straight, and they've beaten the Clippers twice. They've beaten quality opponents at home and on the road. And LeBron James was just player of the month for February. And this is all after post turning 40 with all these new pieces. And I think they went, whatever they did, they lost 2 games in February, and that was to Utah and to Charlotte. Right before and right after the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they're hitting on all cylinders, but they're an exciting team to watch. And you're starting to talk about, playoff expectations, Western Conference Finals appearances. Who can they beat? Who they match up well against? They don't. Defensively, they're playing better. They're going to lack size. They're going to give up some rebounds, but offensively, when you have Austin Reeves playing well, playing next to Luka and LeBron, and they're facilitating, scoring, rebounding, assisting, it's a tough matchup for anybody.
We've seen this formula before. It's not like we haven't seen 2 good wings win a championship before. It happens. Justin, what's your thoughts on the Lakers and how far can they go with this thing?
All this JJ talk, I don't care about JJ, man. To me is mainly LeBron James, and I think he led by example. Normally he doesn't, right? You see clips of, lackadaisical defense
Oh,
getting
come
pushed
on.
out
You
there to
can't say
guard people and
normally
stuff.
he doesn't.
I,
Come on.
I'm just saying that was the
Classic.
case up until recently. He's been a different cat. He realizes what he has in Luka Doncic, and as a result of that, he turned on the gear. He's playing great defense now. Like I done seen multiple
We've seen
times
him
where
low.
she shut it down multiple different aspects of the game defensively. So I think LeBron has a new leash on life. I think he's good to go, and I think the team is responding to that. And then JJ is just happened to be the coach during the situation. That's my thoughts. What does that mean for long term? As long as they avoid Denver, they got a shot against anybody.
They beat Denver.
And that's just yeah, but I don't have them beating playoff Denver. I don't have them getting a consistent we're going to adjust Jokic minutes to playoff minutes.
Who's stopping Luka?
They don't have anybody to stop Luka.
Okay.
But
I like
when you
I like Luka and LeBron versus Jokic and whoever else you pick at number 2.
Well, I'm not going to knock the fact that Jamal Murray is a playoff performer as well. So we're not going to knock Jamal Murray.
I like Luka and LeBron versus Jokic and whoever else you say. If Jamal Murray was a playoff performer for 1 year and Jokic got all the credit.
Luka's still. Jokic still a beast, man.
Jokic is still that dude.
I
don't want him.
If Jokic averaged 40, then I think Luka going to average 45. I like Luka offensively more than I like Jokic.
I hope he get his rhythm. He's missing a lot of threes, but I think.
Oh, so y'all winning it all then.
You hear the confidence in his voice, don't you, Justin? You hear the confidence in his voice.
I like him
over
Denver.
Paper.
I like him over Denver.
Paper.
I like look. I'm about to knock Jokic down my MVP ladder. I'm just saying.
All he doing is having another MVP season, but Shea is just outshining him a little bit.
Man,
Is it leading the wins? Is it leading the wins? I ain't seen them beat LA. Is it leading the wins, or was it just
Is he not still top 5 in his conference?
You putting up empty stats. You putting up empty stats. No wins. Okay,
No,
I've seen it before. I've seen you win MVP as a 6 seed, and everyone talk about your stats, but it didn't lead to wins.
Are they not top 5 in the West?
He let him touch that 2 seed. Okay. Justin, y'all should never let him touch that 2 seed. He getting cocky now. He getting cocky. Okay. Let's talk about this.
I'm looking down on them. They still trying to catch up with us. Where they at?
Y'all watch that Cavs Boston game from last Friday? What a sensational basketball!
Oh, the one with Tatum said, "Get out of here," and then
probably one of the best games I've seen in a long time. That first half, Jason Tatum was absolutely sensational. Dropped about 31 in the first half. They was smoking, rolling, but then in the second half, my man Donovan Mitchell said, "Hold my beer. I got this." I mean, dunks, layups, shooting 3, mid-range, teardrops, whatever you want, he got it. Darius Garland adding in where he need to. This Cleveland Cavaliers team is for real. Boston's great, and I'm not going to take away from. They didn't have Porzingis. They didn't have the point guard. A man from the Bucks.
Holiday.
They weren't at full strength. But what they had was Tatum with a sensational performance. Jaylen Brown had a pretty good game, but it wasn't enough. And they had a big lead and got walked down by Donovan Mitchell and them Cavaliers. Do you believe in these Cleveland Cavaliers, Calvin? Do you think they can go all the way to the championship game?
I still think Boston's better than them. Cleveland is so young, and they don't have anyone there that has even been to a conference to a conference finals. I don't think. Unless Mitchell made one back in Utah, but I think they made the second round.
No,
but I just don't know what I expect from them in the playoffs. I've seen Boston do it. I've seen Boston make the conference finals. It's almost like annually at this point. Every year in May that we play in basketball, they'll probably have the home court advantage as well. I just think when it gets to that point, I'll rely on Tatum and Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown because they've been there before and they've done it. I don't know if Cleveland can do that. And I don't want them to rely too much on Mitchell and turn it into a 1-on-1 or a 1v5. So I still lean Boston because they've been there and I've seen them do it before, and it's not May yet, and I think they still have another gear they can get to, and they're kind of going through the motion of the regular season. They do get up for games like the Cavs, like on Friday, but they just didn't sustain that because it's the regular season. And I think if it's the playoffs, Boston hits another gear that I don't know if Cleveland can get to just yet. So I'm still favoring Boston.
What do you think, Justin?
This is the problem with Jason Tatum in a nutshell. He sparked off a great performance, but he didn't close. He left it out there. And then Donovan walked his ass down and gave you 12 points in the fourth quarter, won the game. That's a problem. You're supposed to finish this out, Jason Tatum. You're supposed to put the league on notice saying, hey, stop forgetting about me. Although I did not get Finals MVP or the Larry Bird Award, I am still that guy. Although I did not get the Olympic time that I wanted, I am still that guy. No, you're not, because you keep reminding us why you're not that guy. So I have problems with that. But when it comes to overall ramifications from this, I will tend to agree with Calvin. They are a championship squad. I would like more championship moments throughout the year, but I don't get that as much. But no, they are waiting for the playoffs, and so we have to see what they can do then. Is Cleveland much better off now than they were in years past? Absolutely. Yeah, I think they have the extreme confidence to make noises in the playoffs that they never once did before. So that is something for on their behalf.
Definitely. Very entertaining game. All right, last week, the Western Conference Player of the Week was Zach LaVine, averaging 28 points a game, shooting 63% from three-point percentage, 3-0 for last week for the Kings. And then for the Eastern Conference was Jalen Brunson, averaging 29, 5, and 6. Knicks was 3-0 last week. Had a good run. The man turned it on in fourth quarters, some games last week. Justin, give us our weekly Knicks report. What's your thoughts?
Well, besides the loss they took tonight to the Warriors, they, I do not know what we have, and I have to just wait and find out. The reason why I say it is because they'll beat B teams on down. We'll smash them. I'm not even
show up against the big dog.
Anybody else. But the elite of the elite, we struggle with to the point where we struggle to get wins against them. And you ain't got this. This is not a stat based show. This is a different.
Is that 08 include tonight? Is it 09?
No, it's like Boston, Cleveland, and Oklahoma City. I think.
OKC. Yeah. And we just got to keep it moving. We got LA around the corner too. So we're gonna see what them Lakers is about. I just want them to be consistent. They are consistently well against B teams.
Yeah.
So I can honestly see them going to the second round with no problem. It's where we at after that, and we're going to have to find out then. But JB's been balling out of his mind. Cat took about 2-3 steps back. I wish Cat would actually, maintain his MVP type run that he was having in the first half. But I understand, it is
Mitchell Robinson.
Well, Mitchell just came back probably about 2-3 games now, so it's not because of Mitch. But they have to work that out too. Mitch has to work out his time and his breathing, getting back into game shape and all these things. He's making a contribution, but it's not as much as I would like, but it's coming. So I give him time. So we are definitely a product that's going to peak around playoffs, not right now. But shout out to JB for holding it down as much as he can.
All right. So as of last night, these were the standings. Of course, some games were played tonight. As Justin alluded to, the Knicks did take a loss to the Golden State Warriors, who have been red hot. Steph has been freed up. I think he dropped like 56 last week. I can't remember. We talked about that last week on the program. Yeah. So, some big games from some big time players. The standings are there for you. Again, OKC has been on fire. OKC sits atop the league right now, and I don't think that nobody's catching them. Right now, Chet Holmgren, back in the lineup. I don't know if he's 100% yet, but he's showing himself. Shea is the man. Like, there's no other way to put it. He closed out another big game the other night. Just looks like he's just got a well-rounded arsenal. And on any given night, he can drop 35 on you. And without even thinking, he getting 30. But he can go for 40 if need be. What's your thoughts on this Thunder? Do you see anybody beating them in the Western Conference? Justin, I'll start with you.
The man that beat him last time, I think he beat him again. I think Luka can look at this team and says that I do not fear this team at all. So if they match up when they do, I can see the Lakers beating them because of the strength of Luka. But when it comes to other players, other team, I think Shea has the number against mostly everybody else. And I don't think he's afraid of anybody. I think the thing, like I said, a couple shows, he was consistently giving you 30 last year, but it was like that was it. He was not pushing 40. He wasn't even sniffing 50. So now he's showing if I need to score 50, I can at any given time. I did it 4 times this year so far. Like, it's not a problem for me. I'm going to, chances are the MVP is mine. I might win a scoring title to go with it. These people cannot touch me. I am a 6'6" point guard that's untouchable. That type of confidence is mind-blowing. So this team is very, very, very good, very talented. They are a team-based team, but it's all centered around Shea, and it will continue to be centered around Shea, and we'll see who eats off of Shea. But they're doing a great job. Shea's doing a great job.
Calvin, anybody beating this team in the West?
I don't know. I think Denver has a good shot because there's a chance that they can have the best player on the court, even with Shea on there. If they can get enough stops defensively, then I think they have a chance. And I think they potentially could get out rebounded as well. But I think it's probably just Denver, maybe Memphis, but I still need to see Ja just engaged 100%. I like that Ja Bane Triple J dynamic, especially if Triple J is playing it at that Defensive Player of the Year status. And I got to see a matchup with the Lakers. I'm not OKC, in my opinion, has the better overall team, but there are matchups in which they may not have the best overall player on the court. And that's even with Shea. If it's a Jokic, even if it's a Luka, it has potential to maybe be a Ja as well. But there are the potential for those matchups. But to beat them 4 times in 2 weeks is going to be tough for anyone. But I do think there are teams out there that can do it.
We'll continue to watch that. We can talk about this guy, Anthony Edwards, man. Last week, he was suspended for getting too many technicals. He went over the benchmark for that, coming off of the time where he didn't want to be a superstar. And a lot of those comments apparently were his reference to he doesn't get the calls like he's a superstar. I watched the game the other night where it was clear the guy was fouled and nothing was called. He doesn't get those calls to any of us. So a lot of people just say, maybe he's not a superstar on the rise. Maybe he's just a star. Maybe he's just not worthy of that. But, I mean, the guy's been putting up some big-time games, putting them together. Calvin, what is your thoughts on Anthony Edwards? Is there something about him, his attitude, the way he carries himself, that doesn't give him the respect from the league? Is there something about him that they don't like? What's your thoughts?
Look, we're still in a what have you done for me lately league. And I go back to this when we're talking about him or we're talking about Jason Tatum. And you go back to when the stars when the stars of stars were all together playing for Team USA, who was out there leading them? It wasn't the young guys. It wasn't Anthony Edwards. It wasn't Jason Tatum. It was the old guard. It was Kevin Durant. It was Steph Curry. It was LeBron James. And if you cannot at least get to their level when you're actively competing with or against them, it's hard for me to consider you the next star or a star and align with them when they're still in the league and they're still putting up numbers, competitively winning ball games and really really putting up numbers. It's not that Anthony Edwards is not a star. It's just that he has not ascended to that level yet. He was almost there last year leading his team to the NBA Finals, but he just hasn't ascended to that level yet. And you're trying to get the calls a little bit too soon. keep growing your game, keep playing hard. You said All-Star game too? Is that what you said?
Western Conference
No,
Finals.
he went to the
Oh.
conference finals.
Western Conference Finals, yeah. So I think he's just not there. He's just a little premature. Even you can say Tatum deserves to be more of a star ahead of him. That's a whole nother conversation. But he's not there at that point yet. He still needs a little bit more to go. And I think he wants that too early, and he hasn't really earned it yet. You still gotta. It has to be a point you at least have to make a finals before you want to enter this conversation. At least you lead your team to a finals, and then we can put you in that conversation. We can start talking about where you fit in amongst the league. But until then, and especially with how the Olympics went, he's a budding star. I don't like throwing around the word superstar, as you said, but he's not there yet.
Okay, Justin, what's your thoughts on Anthony Edwards and how he feels he's being treated by the league, the respect or lack thereof he's been given? Thoughts?
He is a superstar. I don't think you have to be a final. You make it to the finals to be a superstar. I don't think that at all. But with that being said, I understand this comment. I think LeBron James kind of echoed it home. I think LeBron James literally took the shield off, for Anthony Edwards when he's talking about being the face of the league and things like that. Because everything that LeBron said, one, I have to listen to because I've never been the face of the league. So this man been had that responsibility year 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? As being the face of the league. So who else would know better than him? And what he's saying seemed accurate. It is a lot of hate, a lot of villainry out here in these social media streets, in these media streets. It's not the same love affair as it once was. So yeah, who wants to take those shots over and over and over and over again? So I fall back for that one. But to say that Anthony Edwards have issues with that, hey, who wants to be that person when I can get all the pros of being the face of the league without being the face of the league. I can get all the endorsements that I want to. What's the problem?
I think his issue is more so on the court. I think his biggest problem is he's not giving the benefit of doubt from the officials. He's not getting those calls that you traditionally would give to a superstar or a guy that's elevated to that status. Like we've seen James Harden routinely get to the free throw line. We've seen Luka get the calls. You've seen different guys, once they get to a certain status, they get the benefit of doubt from the officials. And I think that's what's frustrating them, which causing a lot of technical fouls and which caused them had to miss a game the other day. And then Draymond even came out and said, hey, he better calm down because once they label you as a bad guy that's hard to work with, you ain't going to be the face of the league. It's going to limit your ability to grow or be that guy that they're going to put as the first. So I thought that was an interesting take on it. Justin, your response to that part.
Now, when it comes to that aspect, not everybody gets the calls. I mean, LeBron James for years been trying to get calls, and he's just too physically gifted to get those calls sometimes. I will put it that more in that aspect than anything else. You're just a gifted guy, man, and for him to come this route, like you said, you're putting a target on your back that you don't want. So this is your one bad season when it comes to the arguing with the referees, because he'll argue with the referees and he'll take it to the post game and say they weren't doing shit. Like that's you can't do that, right?
That's not the face of the league. Yeah.
That's not any league. Like that's not culture. That's not cool at all. So that what does that do for you? How does it help you? That's what he has to understand. It's the maturity he has to set in. If anything, he has to get matured to that level. Even if I argue this point, how does that help me in the next game? Are they gonna be like, oh, Anthony, you know what? You were so right. Like, no, they're not. They're human. Like, how dare you call me out like that? Well, guess what? Your next game is gonna be even harder. So he'll learn that next year. Hopefully, but the star for him is rising. He can still claim that, and I understand what Draymond Green said because he is right. You don't want to be tagged that. We've seen people get tagged that, and they will never get rid of it. But not to this extent. Not this level of guy. This level of guy doesn't get that.
Yeah, you don't want to be run on tests. That's what I'm looking at. Like Ron Artest was talented, but after the Palace, it wasn't no coming back for that from him. Like, yeah. So anyway, I thought that it was just an interesting discussion that I thought that, and Draymond's comments kind of put that in perspective. Not necessarily about the whole face of the league part, but just how the officials sometimes can label you a certain way, and it's hard to shake it. Two more things I think that we kind of blend these two teams together right now, because if you look at the Phoenix Suns, what's a more disappointing team in the league right now? We talk about Dallas and all the tragic things that happen. These guys are all playing. Like, we talk about Philly and everything that happened with them, that's due to injury. But KD's playing, Devin Booker's playing, Bradley Beal's playing. Like, wow. Like who saw this going the way it is? Juxtapose that to Jimmy Butler going out to Golden State and the way they playing with Steph, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond. It's very, very similar. Remember, KD didn't want to go to Golden State for whatever reasons he gave. We talked about that last week. What's your thoughts on this whole thing? How Phoenix is looking opposed to how Golden State is looking, and what's the future for this team, Calvin?
Phoenix is just questionable because, like you said, they've been healthy all year. Their big three is primarily played, but they just haven't played well. And you don't want to knock Kevin Durant, but wherever he's gone post Golden State, he hasn't had much success on his own when he was the leader of this ball club, and now he's going to be on his fourth team post Golden State. Third team post Golden State, and looking to still trying to get another ring. And even back in Golden State, just mentioned Jimmy. When Jimmy's motivated and Jimmy wants to play, he is a completely different player, and he really helps winning. And we saw that tonight, and we've seen that in the last couple of weeks since he's been in Golden State. And they've climbed up to the 6th seed, I believe, from being in the playing game. And it's just one player. It's taking pressure off of Steph. It's another bucket getter. It's another ball handler. It's someone else that can get Steph easy looks, and someone else that you have to defend on offense. And all of a sudden, it's making Steph's life easier, and all of a sudden, everyone else is playing well. And it's all because Jimmy is motivated. And when Jimmy is motivated, he is a top 15, 20 player in this league. And we're seeing that again this year. Right now, but he wasn't motivated in Miami. He's got this contract extension. He's in Golden State. He's playing for a franchise he wants to play for. He's playing with a player in Steph Curry he's probably never played with before, and they're winning ball games.
Justin, your thoughts?
As much as KD talks about the leaders and who's not a leader, and I'm just playing basketball and all this other stuff, we've really got to dive into his descendants of prime KD. That post Golden State era, it's not looking good at all. Like, it's this type of stuff that, hey man, I had him top 15. Well, it's looking like top 20 now. Like, it's getting to that ramifications, because we saw what happened in Brooklyn. He had to sign on for a lot of stuff that happened in Brooklyn. Somebody had to sign on to Steve Nash coaching that team. Like,
wow.
That was a cluster F,
getting rid
right?
of Kenny Atkinson.
Right. So
Agreed.
You bring that, and then okay. So what? That's a one-off. Boom. You're right. You know what? You're right. All right. Let's go over to Phoenix. There's no excuse in Phoenix right now. Like, y'all are totally underperforming, and you know what? Damn that. The fact that he left OKC to go to Golden State because he couldn't play with Russ, so he couldn't figure out Russ. You're not a leader, bro. Like, nothing revolves
Who has
around
he played
you.
well with, other than when Steph and Clay was?
Steph.
You have to be the part that revolves around other people, other systems. You're a perfect plug and play guy, but you're so good that you're supposed to, once you get plugged in, hey, this is my show now. Everyone else revolve around me.
You're supposed to be the system.
Work for that.
Yeah.
So
it's just
that's
too many
problem,
examples, man. It's too many examples. And it's not Bud's fault. I hate that people remember at the beginning of the year, Bud was off to a high start. Everybody thought, hey, it is working. These guys quit on the games. I'll be watching it. Devin Booker still be trying to do his best. Quit.
I'm gonna say the problem with that is he's gonna be settled with a losing team, because they're not gonna pay a fourth coach. They're still paying Vogel. They're still paying Monty Wilkinson. They're not going to pay a fourth coach, so he's stuck there unless he quits.
Yeah, it's sad, man. Yeah, I it's just crazy for a team. Everybody thought, oh, this going. I never expected Bill to help after those injuries. He just never was the same.
I didn't expect him to be this bad, though.
Yeah. Well, just we running low on time, but I did an exercise this week where there was a graphic going around about which era wins, and what you see in the middle is what the original graphic had, and then I took that graphic and I went and added some other players to the Gen Z, Millennials, Gen X, and Baby Boomers on the sides, and to fill it out to say who are the additional guys. And I wanted to do this as an exercise. So next week, we're going to take this graphic. I want you to put them in order and tell me, for as Gen Z, who would you consider outside of the ones that they put in the middle? We're going to put them in order. In which way, how would you rank them? 1 through, I think it's 5 on the side, 5. So about, I couldn't think of too many more for Gen Z. So each of you give me one more person for Gen Z. Who would you consider a quote-unquote superstar of this next era? We got 15 for the Millennials, 15 for Gen X, and 15 for the Baby Boomers. Solid generation. I'll fill that out as best as I can over this next week. I ran out of time. And we'll go and rank the best of the best from each generation, and then say, okay, which generation was the best? Because this is a major exercise. There's been a lot of debates about which era was the best in all of basketball. I've been highly critical of the era that gets talked about a lot. And again, as far as the 90s, but if you separate it like this, according to when the player was born, what era of age-wise matters, I think it kind of helps delineate things, because we all know Jordan played some of his best basketball in the 90s, but he came in the league in the 80s, so technically he's in that baby boomer era with some of those guys like that. But Gen X, Shaq got drafted in 92, 91, 92, but he started winning his championships in the 2000s, so he's of that age range to go into Gen X. So some of these players, we know LeBron has played for 22 years, so he's been around a long time, but look at all of those players that were in that millennial range. So again, I'm going to send this to Justin and Calvin, and we're going to have 1 week to shuffle our lists and rank them. And then next week, we'll put that all together and put it on display for you all to talk about it right here on the program next week. How that sound, fellas?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I'm trying to think of some Gen Zs, but I got a couple, but I gotta go through the list in my head.
Yeah, send it to me in the group chat. Justin, your thoughts on this ordeal we're taking on?
Yeah, man, I'm glad you said that you ran out of time, because this just looked real like, yo, it's these 5 and some plumbers. That's what it's coming to.
Oh no.
Who you calling a plumber?
Yeah, you can't say that after we had that whole conversation.
I know. I'm saying that's how it's coming across. So I'm glad that you said that you ran out of time. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
you talking about the solid generation?
Yes, I'm glad.
You ran out of time. Real solid. I ran out of time. I ran out of time. No,
it's good. I like it.
This is the thing you gotta realize. I have to create these images. I have to go find.
So you saying you couldn't find no pictures in color of these individuals?
Some of these guys don't even have headshots. Like you know how you go on like ESPN or NBA, they don't even have official headshots.
You couldn't find pictures in color. Like we still can't find that Wilt 100 game tape.
Well, Wilt was already on the graphic, so I ain't had to find him. They went and found some game tape or something of that guy. But a lot of these guys didn't have official headshots, or if they did, it was like real grainy. So I'm going to have to do my magic and get some headshots of guys like, I know I found a Moses Malone.
Dr. J.
Yeah, definitely got Dr. J. But like I said, I needed to get 10 of these people. And I was like, I ain't had time.
I could have found a Willis Reed and a
I'll find
Wes
Unseld. Nate Archibald, maybe put on we'll put a little list together and do that. But yeah, it was a couple of debates on who should go on these lists for the baby boomers. And like I say, it's slim pickings on some of these guards. I was like, I think
you nailed the baby boomers. I think that's That about it.
I was thinking maybe because I was even debating Jason Kidd, should he go into baby boomers? But I slid him up there in Gen X because some of his best years was in the 2000s.
Same class as Shaq, so it makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I was looking at it. Like yeah. And
Once
Gary Payton
Shaq got labeled, that means anybody that was drafted 92, 93, 94. If anybody in that Gen X, maybe slide Grant Hill in there somewhere. I don't know who you take out.
Grant, but I was like, who to take out? You know what I mean? I'm like,
maybe Ron Artest.
Maybe, but like I say, Ron was kind of a main guy for a while there. But I get it. I might take him out.
Definitely Tony Parker. I don't know why he's on.
Chill out. Don't even try that. That's a
definitely biased.
4-time champion. That's a 4-time champion.
Grant Hill.
Yes, a 4-time champion and leading scorer of the San Antonio Spurs. Yes, he led the team in scoring, not Tim Duncan. So yes, he deserves to be on the list. If I'm going to put Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter on this list, you're damn right I'm putting Tony Parker on the list. But no, I can live with the Ron Artest one because I was like Jimmy Butler. Who would I take off for Jimmy Butler? What y'all think? He would go up in millennials, right? You taking off?
Yeah, he got me a millennial.
You taking off Dame? And B gotta be on there. I can't. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't make the list. It just ain't make it. ED gotta be on there. It gotta be. But anyway, yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. I'll send you all this document, and we'll go over this next week. But we appreciate you all tuning in tonight. It's been a fun show. We thank Kevin for joining us. We had a good time talking some professional wrestling. And as we said a few weeks ago, we're going to be talking wrestling heading into the road to WrestleMania. So every week we'll do a little check-in. It won't be as long as we did tonight because we came off of a pay-per-view. So we kind of did a little bit more detail. But next week we'll get into and some baseball's coming up. So I'm leaving that in the hands of Calvin and Justin to get us set up for the season. We'll get this thing all laid out for you, talk about the lineups. So I want a detailed report on the Orioles starting lineup next week, fellas. I need y'all to walk me through.
Can we get like 2 more weeks? They just camp just opened up.
Okay, all right.
They just started spring training.
Maybe do a little bit next week and a little the week after. Maybe tell me who the returning players are, and then we can.
All that matters right now is Batista is back.
Tell me who Batista is. I don't even know who he is.
That's our closer, by the way.
All right, thank you. I don't even know who he is.
I was right behind it. I was like, who he is right now. Felix Batista, man. He's the reason why we didn't
only
win
Batista I know
year.
is Tony Batista. Used to play for the Toronto Blue Jays and came to the Orioles in like 2005 because I was a huge Orioles fan. But anyway, ain't Tony Batista. All right. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you right here next week for another edition of Get Off the Damn Fence. For Calvin, Justin, I'm Larry. See y'all next week.